Tonight we're having fish for dinner and we're going to use a beer batter. So we've got nail perch here, but you don't have to use nail perch. Now, one of the things you have to do when you cook it is you have to actually take the basket out, because when you put the battered fish in there, it's going to go through the holes and it's going to make a whole mess on the outside, and you're going to lose your batter because it's baked onto the basket here. So we don't use that. We're only going to use that to cook the chips in. We're also, as I said, we're having chips with that just then, and we have a salad here. Now this salad is different to last time when we had the pan fried fish. This salad actually has cheese in it. So I didn't add the French dressing yet because I don't want it to make the cheese go soggy. So we'll add that in later. So as I said, we're going to make a beer batter. So first we've got a baking tray of plain flour, which will help our batter stick. So for the beer batter, we're going to go over to the bar first, and we're going to pull the beer because it's going to get a head on it and it's going to take a while to settle down a bit. So we need about half a pot of this, or a pint. People call it pints, or?
No, it's a pot.
A pot. Anyway, so we're going to let that sit because as you can see, it's homemade beer, so it doesn't really matter what beer you use either. So to start off with, we've got 3 eggs, so we're going to add them in. Now you can mix this by fork, but it's a hell of a lot easier using a mix master, so one of these with beaters on it. So it makes it a lot easier and a lot quicker to mix the batter together because it takes a lot longer using a fork. So we're going to add some flour in there too. Now we're going to put milk in ours. We're going to save that till last so we can determine how much to put in when we put the beer in. So it's going to... Is that beer done yet? No, it's not done yet. Okay, so it's going to mix this together. But you got to be careful. It might plug it in and it might work. So it's going to plug it in first, obviously.
Having a blonde moment, are we?
Stop it. Anyway, so we're going to just slowly pulsate that because we don't want that going everywhere. So what a beer batter does is it makes the batter light and fluffy. We're going to add more flour in there because it's not enough. I just want to go overboard with it, but I suppose you could always add other stuff in if you do get too much flour in there. So you need to use plain flour for this. SR flour wouldn't work very well, so just plain flour. Any brand of plain flour doesn't particularly matter. So it's a bit dry at the moment, but the beer will solve that part of that. So you stay there. We're going to get this over here now. That should be alright to put in there now. So we've got some beer there. So you can use any type of beer you want. Doesn't really matter. I don't want to get the head in there though. That doesn't really matter. We'll just dip the whole lot in there. We'll see how that goes. So it's going to pulsate over there a bit. It's really thick batter now. So this is where the milk comes in as well. So the milk will actually water it down. It doesn't actually change the flavour a lot. So we just put milk in. So we're just going to put a couple splashes of milk in there. Not too much. We want it to be like sort of watered down a bit because that's a bit too thick and gloggy. So we'll just see how that goes for a bit. I'm just going to... Obviously that's still not the consistency we want, but we're getting there. So we need more milk in there. Just going to put a few more splashes in it. So we're just going to slowly add things until we get the right consistency in there. So I've added 3 more splashes of milk in there. So there we have it. Want that sort of consistency. So we're just going to tip that into our baking tray here, because it's easier to do it like in a baking tray than it is to like I don't really have to cover the whole surface, we just need to cover the fish with it, so we'll just need to put it somewhere else for now. So what we do first off, we grab a piece of fish and we'll just cover it in the flour. I have two tongs here, one for putting the fish in and one for taking it out, because the batter is actually going to make the fish slippery, and you don't want to drop that fish. More importantly, you don't want to drop it in the hot oil for the deep fryer, so you don't want any burns like that. So that's why we use two. You could use one, but it's safer, a lot safer to use two. So when our fish is covered like that, we just sit in here. I mean, it can get a bit messy too, with your fingers and all that. So we just put that in there. We're going to let that sit for a while. I'm going to put another one in there. In the flour. So it just has to be covered. You can use your hands. If you don't want to get your hands through, you could use tongs as well. It doesn't particularly matter. If you feel any bones, like I think I just felt a bone, I'm going to pull that out. So there's a bone in there. You see that there's bones? We don't want anyone choking on the bone. But you always tell them beforehand to be careful when eating the fish anyway, because we don't want anyone to get injured. So what we need to do is you can either stab it while it's cooking, or you can also just chuck it on the chopping board and stab it after you've floured it or before you floured it. Just make sure you stab it at some point in time. So you stab it. What stabbing will do is it'll allow the heat to get into the center of the fish, and it will actually cook quicker and more evenly too. Now it's pretty easy to tell when fish is cooked because it'll actually start to float. So we're just going to put that in there. Now we're going to grab the first pair of tongs. We've already preheated our deep fryer, by the way. It's already hot and ready to go. So we've just flipped this fish over here. You can use the tongs to help batter it a bit, but see, just a light batter on there. See what I mean by it's slippery? It just slipped out of the tongs then. So you need to make sure you got a good grip when you put it in the deep fryer. So you just got to make sure it's battered on both sides. And battered really, pretty consistently. So you just flip that over. And you just do that. And once that's battered, we're just going to take it with us because it's easy to do it that way. We've got a hot water here ready to go as well. So we just take the lid off. And that's hot. So we're just going to grab the tongs. Now we need to make sure we've got a good grip because we don't want it to slip and drop into the oil. So we're just going to let that drip off. And just drop it in there. And hopefully it doesn't, I don't think it's going to it's probably going to try and get stuck. So we're just going to try and grab that a bit and move it around. So it's not on the element because it will try and stick and we'll try and put it up and give you a bit of trouble. So that's cooking away. Now if you got more than room for one like we do and it just slipped again, you can put more than one in at the same time. So I don't think I stabbed this one, but we'll come along and while it's cooking we will stab it. Just going to put that in there. Now you just need to be very, very careful too because this is actually really hot oil. So we're going to let them cook away. So we'll come back when they're cooked a bit. I don't want to stab it the other one as yet because it's still too far down. So what we're going to do now is we've got some lettuce here and we're going to make a lettuce bed for the salad. Now there's an extra plate here tonight because my older brother's over, so we're making for 5 tonight instead of 4. So we're just going to grab a leaf of lettuce or something like that and just make a bed. I'm going to move this out of the way quickly. So I'll just be back. Give me a second. I don't want that. I want to use that sink there. So let's check the fish, see how it's going. It's not doing too bad. It's either starting to float as they cook through. So we're going to grab some lettuce now. We're going to rinse it off. But usually we rinse it off when we buy it to clean off the pesticides. But we're just going to rinse it off again. We don't want that part. So let's rinse the lettuce out. And we're going to make a sort of bed for the salad to sit on. Just move first plate here. So like that. I'm going to go back over here and check it out. I was going to grab these tongs just in case I have to grab them out. So this one's up a bit, so I can just, instead of stabbing all it's in there, I'm actually going to take it out because it's probably a lot safer to do that. So these are clean tongs. Now I'm going to stab this. See how the batter's turning out? It's a bit, sometimes they do break. You can already hear how crispy the batter's gone. And it's pretty light and fluffy too. So we're just going to put that back in there now. I've stabbed it. But they won't be too long because the fish doesn't generally take too long to cook either. So we're just going to give them a couple more minutes. And then we'll check them again. So we're going to grab this now. We're going to sort of show you the first plate to start off with. And make our way around. So I cut some cheese in there, so they're just sliced like that. Bit of red onion and tomato and lettuce. Now some of these red onions do pack a punch, but these are probably better to use for salads than a brown onion is. So I'm just going to try and put it on sort of evenly. So get some cheese, get some tomato in there. So put it on as evenly as possible. Now that fish should nearly be ready, so we're going to go back and check it in a second. So that should be right. So something like that. I'm going to put the French dressing on last because we don't want that cheese to go soggy. So these are floating now. As you can see, they're floating. This one's floating. So they're not down like as they were before. They're floated to the surface, and that's how you know they're ready. But we're still going to cut them open so you can see that they actually are cooked. And if they're not cooked, we'll just pop them back in. So you just got to double check everything because the last thing, so that's not ready yet. That's definitely not ready yet. So it's about halfway cooked at the moment. So we're going to put that back in. And it's going to give me trouble now because I cut it open. So we're just going to put that back in there. Now, well, it will fall apart because I've cut it open. But with us, the main thing is we eat food that's like, especially fish and chicken, we want that to be fully cooked because we don't want anyone getting sick. So we tend to make sure that these things are cooked perfectly because we don't want anyone getting sick because it's not good to get sick from food poisoning. So we always make sure fish and chicken are cooked right through. We're getting my batter back. We're just going to keep an eye on that too because they're halfway cooked already and it's not even a few minutes, so they won't take very long either. Now, as you put your flour in here, this will actually tend to thicken up, but you can always water it down with a tad more beer or a tad more milk. So that'll actually water it down a bit more because the flour will actually thicken it as you know, give it something to hang on to while you put it in the plain flour here. Let's have the fish cooking. It smells good. So we're just going to quickly lightly file these, take off the excess, and still put them in there. Now, see, it's already thickened up from the first couple of pieces we put in there. So just put them in there. Now you just let them sit for a couple of minutes so it sort of bonds on, and then you turn them over. Now we're only going to show you the cooking process for the two pieces of fish over there because you'll get the gist of it and you won't need to watch me cook the rest of it. So just wait till those are done and we'll show you. Then we'll cook the rest off camera because you don't need to sit there for 15 minutes or less or anything like that, just watching fish cook. So after these are browned up a bit, so they're browned up a lot. Now when you finish cooking, you just get a spoon or something like that and just gently scoop all that batter out because that'll actually ruin the oil. So just make sure you take that out when you're done. And I'm pretty sure it's got flour on those. So these are probably nearly ready. I'll put my knife over here. And you can have a drink. It's so hot when you cook them too, so. Now I'm going to come over here to the fish. Now you do have to be very careful. I suppose you could cook this on the stove with like a pan, you know, like the old-fashioned way they're done with the pot on the So that looks like it's cooked in here, good. Yeah, so that's white now. So that is ready to go. So this one, check this other one here. Now you have to be very, very, very careful. Make sure you've got a good grip on the fish when pulling it out and putting it in. Because that oil is pretty hot and we don't want any accidents. So that's why as well. So those two pieces of fish are ready to go. So we'll be back when we've cooked all our fish and we're ready for the next step. We'll see you soon. Hello everybody, welcome back. So here is our food plated up. So we got our beer battered fish. Looks pretty tasty to me. We got some prawns, we got a salad, and we got our chips. Now, I didn't put the French dressing on the salad straight away because I didn't want that, like, the tomato's already going to soften the cheese. I didn't want it to really go soggy because the French dressing will do that. So we're going to leave it till now before we put it on. So we're just sprinkle a little bit over each plate to finish off. And you can also, we also have like a few things you can put on your fish if you choose to. So we have, over here, we have tartare sauce, which is good for putting on any type of seafood. And we also have lemon juice. You can also just buy lemons, fresh lemons to squeeze over, or you can just buy some lemon juice. So if you want some lemon on your fish, you just drizzle that over. Or if you want some tartare, you can use that too. So there we have it. There was our beer battered fish. As I said earlier, we use nail perch. Doesn't particularly matter what sort of fish, and it doesn't matter what sort of beer. Another note is if you're worried about the alcohol in the batter, it doesn't matter because any alcohol will be burnt away in the deep fryer. So if you liked and enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you later for another video.